Two people answer the same question, but only one sounds certain. One explains the limits, risks, and missing information. The other speaks quickly, smiles, and never hesitates. Most people trust the confident answer first, even when the careful answer is more inaccurate. Your brain often confuses certainty with competence. And confident liars understand that shortcut extremely well. Imagine Theo entering an important meeting at work. His company must choose between two expensive strategies. Dr. Lena presents evidence, then admits what remains uncertain. Victor promises success with absolute confidence. He uses simple words, strong eye contact, and a perfect. Lena uses probabilities, conditions, and uncomfortable limitations. The room begins leaning toward Victor, because his answer feels easier to believe. That feeling has a name: processing. Information feels truer when the brain processes it easily. Simple language requires less mental effort than careful complexity. A clean story feels safer than an incomplete reality. Victor gives the room a beginning, middle, and guaranteed ending. Lena gives them possibilities, trade-offs, and unanswered questions. One answer creates relief, the other creates work. The brain often rewards relief before checking accuracy. A steady voice suggests control. Fast answers suggest expertise. Direct eye contact suggests honesty. Relaxed posture suggests nothing is being hidden. None of these signals prove the claim is true, but together they create the appearance of authority. We still judge the messenger while evaluating the message. A strong argument can lose attention through visible uncertainty. This creates the confidence heuristic. When evidence is difficult, confidence becomes a mental substitute. Theo does not understand every number in the presentation, so his brain asks a faster question. Who looks like they understand the numbers? But appearance and knowledge are different variables. Experts often sound less certain because they see more complexity. Beginners can sound certain because they see fewer possibilities. Honest expertise often includes words like likely, depends, and unclear. False expertise prefers always, guaranteed, and impossible. One sounds weaker, but may actually contain more knowledge. Victor repeats the same promise 3 different ways. Each repetition makes the sentence feel more familiar. Familiar information becomes easier to process, and easy processing can be mistaken for truth. This is called the illusory truth effect. A statement can feel more believable simply because you heard it before. It only changes the feeling surrounding the claim. They repeat the conclusion until doubt feels socially awkward. One executive nods at Victor. Soon, several people appear convinced. Theo begins doubting his own hesitation. If everyone accepts it, perhaps they know something he missed. But the group may be copying the same first reaction. 10 followers do not create 10 independent judgments. Victor now appears confident and socially confirmed. That combination can overpower weak evidence. Victor is polished, charismatic, and easy to listen to. People assume he is also intelligent, honest, and prepared. Lena looks tired and pauses before difficult answers. Her honesty is misread as weak. The room rewards performance and punishes intellectual honesty. Here is the midpoint twist. They believe because uncertainty feels emotionally expensive. He offers control, prediction, and psychological relief. Lena asks everyone to tolerate not knowing. That is harder when money, status, or fear are involved. Under stress, the mind wants closure more than accuracy. A certain mistake can feel better than an uncertain truth. This is called the need for cognitive closure. It increases when people feel tired, threatened, or rushed. Victor creates urgency before anyone can examine the details. He warns that hesitation will destroy the opportunity. Now, careful thinking feels like dangerous delay. Theo feels pressure to decide immediately. The company chooses Victor's strategy. For 2 weeks, everything appears successful. Then hidden costs begin appearing. The projections depended on assumptions he never mentioned. The guaranteed result was never guaranteed. Victor did not know more than Lena. He was simply less honest about uncertainty. After the failure, everyone claims the warning signs were obvious. But confidence had made those signs emotionally invisible. The speaker answers faster than the question deserves. They attack doubt instead of answering it. They use absolute language for complex situations. They replace evidence with stories about their own success. They create urgency when verification would be easy. They repeat conclusions while avoiding specific mechanisms. They treat questions as disloyalty. They make you feel foolish for requesting proof. Real expertise usually survives examination. It can explain what would change the conclusion. It separates facts, assumptions, and prediction. It can say, "I do not know yet." First, separate delivery from evidence. Imagine the same claim spoken nervously by an unknown person. Second, ask for the mechanism. How exactly does the claimed result happen? Vague confidence weakens when forced into specific steps. Third, request disconfirming evidence. What information would prove the speaker wrong? A person with no possible failure condition is selling belief. Fourth, slow decisions that arrive with emotional urgency. Fifth, count independent sources, not repeated agreement. 10 copied opinions may equal 1 source. Sixth, reward honest uncertainty. Theo later invited Lena back to review the failure. She did not say, "I told you so." She showed exactly where the assumptions had broken. This time, the room listened differently. They learned that uncertainty is not incompetence. Sometimes it is the most honest evidence of competence. Confidence can be useful, but it is never proof. A smooth answer can still hide an empty foundation. Truth often arrives with conditions, limits, and uncomfortable pauses. Do not ask only who sounds certain. Ask who can show why they should be believed. At Danja checks one final headline. 5 minutes later, he has opened 20 more. Every story feels urgent, personal, and impossible to ignore. His eyes hurt, but his thumb keeps moving. He tells himself he is staying informed. Yet the more he reads, the less prepared he feels. By sunrise, Daniel knows everything and understands nothing. It is a psychological loop designed around threat. Your brain was never built for endless global emergencies. It was built to detect one nearby danger. Now your phone delivers thousands before breakfast. Daniel first opened the app during a quiet evening. One alarming story appeared between harmless updates. His body reacted before he finished reading. The story ended, but the alarm remained active. So Daniel searched for another update. He believed more information would create relief. Instead, every answer introduced 3 new questions. Uncertainty became the hook pulling him forward. He kept scrolling to find a feeling of completion. But modern news rarely offers complete endings. Daniel was not searching for news anymore. He was searching for the moment anxiety would stop. That moment never arrived inside the feed. Because the feed was built to keep uncertainty alive. The first force is your brain's negativity bias. Negative information receives faster and deeper attention. A peaceful day contains little survival instruction. A dangerous exception might contain life-saving information. So ancient brains prioritized threats over ordinary safety. Missing one predator could end everything. That logic still operates inside modern attention. A calm headline fades beside one possible disaster. Even unlikely dangers feel important when consequences seem severe. Your brain asks, what if this affects me? Then imagination supplies scenes the article never showed. You picture shortages, conflict, illness, or sudden collapse. The nervous system responds to imagined danger as preparation. Preparation feels responsible, so you keep watching. But constant preparation becomes permanent alarm. Another force is variable reward. Most updates are confusing or emotionally empty. Then one dramatic detail suddenly appears. That surprise produces a small reward spike. Your brain learns that the next swipe might matter. It works like a slot machine made of information. You do not know which scroll brings the important update. Uncertainty makes stopping feel risky. What if the next story changes everything? What if everyone else learns before you? The fear of missing danger becomes stronger than fatigue. That is why boring feeds can remain addictive. It is temporary relief from not knowing. And relief disappears the moment another threat appears. The loop restarts before you notice it ended. Here is the midpoint truth Daniel missed. His brain was not trying to understand the world. It was trying to feel ready for the world. Understanding requires context, patience, and uncertainty. Readiness demands immediate answers and constant scanning. The feed rewards scanning, not understanding. So Daniel collected fragments without building perspective. Each fragment increased urgency while reducing clarity. He felt informed because he felt activated. But activation is not knowledge. Fear can create a false sense of importance. If something feels intense, the brain assumes it matters. Repeated exposure also creates the availability effect. Events seem common when examples are easy to remember. One dramatic incident appears repeatedly across many accounts. Your brain stores repetition as frequency. Now a rare event feels like an everyday threat. The world has not necessarily changed overnight. Your mental sample has become emotionally distorted. This changes behavior beyond the screen. You become suspicious during ordinary conversations. You interpret delays as signs of approaching trouble. Small problems feel connected to a larger collapse. Your body remains prepared for an emergency that never arrives. Sleep becomes lighter and concentration becomes weaker. Weaker concentration makes complex information harder to evaluate. Then sensational claims become easier to believe. Exhaustion quietly lowers your psychological defenses. Thousands of reactions make a story feel important. Anger spreads faster because it creates immediate participation. Sharing gives you a momentary sense of action. You feel less helpless while pressing the button. But spreading alarm can extend the same fear. Now the loop travels through other nervous systems. Daniel noticed the cost during breakfast. His daughter asked a simple question twice. He heard the words but could not return fully. His attention was still trapped inside distant disasters. That is the hidden price of doom scrolling. It borrows awareness from the life directly beside you. You check headlines immediately after waking. You reopen the same story without new information. You feel guilty when you stop reading. You confuse anxiety with responsibility. You consume more facts but make fewer decisions. You feel exhausted, alert, and strangely powerless. It requires changing how reality reaches your brain. First, choose specific times for news. A boundary turns endless scanning into deliberate attention. Second, select a few reliable sources. More sources often create repetition, not understanding. Third, read complete reports instead of endless fragments. Context reduces the emotional of isolated details. Fourth, ask whether information changes today's action. If no action exists, stop collecting identical warnings. Fifth, restore your body before interpreting more threats. Sleep, movement, sunlight, and conversation rebuild perspective. Finally, replace passive scanning with one meaningful action. Help someone, prepare reasonably, vote, donate, or communicate. Action converts helpless attention into limited control. Daniel placed his phone outside the bedroom. The world remained uncertain the next morning. But his mind was no longer carrying all of it. You do not need every warning to stay safe. You need enough clarity to live while uncertainty exists.
Tonight, you will probably make a promise to yourself. Tomorrow, you will wake up earlier, stop scrolling, start exercising. Finally, do the thing you have avoided for months. And for a few minutes, you will believe it. But tomorrow arrives, and a different version of you takes control. So who is that person? The lazy you? The weak you? Not exactly. What takes control is an ancient survival system doing precisely what it was designed to do. The disturbing part is that it can make self-sabotage feel completely reasonable while it is happening. Psychologists describe pieces of this pattern with different names: avoidance, negative reinforcement, temporal discounting. But together, they create what we will call the comfort loop. Trigger, discomfort. Escape, relief. Repeat. 5 steps so fast that you rarely notice them. Imagine Alex needs to prepare a presentation. The trigger is simple. He opens the empty document. Immediately, his brain predicts uncertainty. What if the idea is bad? What if people judge him? What if he discovers he is not as capable as he hoped? Nothing bad has actually happened. Yet his shoulders tighten, his chest feels heavy. The task now carries an emotional price. This matters. Procrastination is often not a time management problem. It is an emotion management problem. Alex is not avoiding the document. He is avoiding the feeling attached to it. Then comes escape. Alex checks one notification. He tells himself he needs a quick mental reset. 10 minutes, disappear. Then 30. Notice the trick. His brain does not say, "Destroy your future." It says, "You will perform better after you feel ready." The moment Alex escapes, the tension drops. That tiny wave of relief is the reward. Not pleasure, relief. And the brain learns from rewards. It records a brutally efficient lesson. When this task creates discomfort, scrolling makes the discomfort disappear. Next time, the urge arrives faster. The pathway becomes smoother. Like footsteps across grass becoming a dirt road, repeated escape becomes automatic. Eventually, Alex feels the urge to avoid the task before he has even opened it. The loop has learned to start itself. This is why intelligence does not protect you. In fact, a clever mind may invent better excuses. I need more research. The timing is wrong. I work best under pressure. Intelligence can become the loop's lawyer, defending avoidance with arguments that sound impressively rational. There is another bias at work. Your brain values relief now more strongly than reward later. The presentation finished next week feels abstract. The discomfort in your chest feels immediate. So your present self borrows comfort and sends the bill to your future self. But the bill grows. Guilt joins anxiety. The unfinished task becomes larger in your imagination. Now beginning feels even harder, so you escape again. This is emotional compound interest. Each delay reduces discomfort for a moment, then increases the total discomfort waiting for you. After enough repetitions, behavior becomes identity. You stop saying, "I avoided this task," and start saying, "I am lazy." That sentence feels like an explanation, but it is actually a cage. If laziness is who you are, every failure becomes evidence, and every success looks like an exception. Here is the twist. You do not break the comfort loop by becoming more motivated. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. You break the loop by changing what happens between discomfort and escape. That tiny space is where your freedom lives. First, name the real emotion. Not, "I do not feel like working." Be precise. "I am afraid this will be bad. I feel confused about the first step. I resent that I have to do this." A named emotion becomes an experience, not an order. Second, shrink the action until it becomes physical and almost embarrassingly easy. Not work on the presentation. Open the file. Write one ugly headline. Add one empty slide. The brain fears vague mountains. It handles visible stones much better. Third, make a 10-minute contract. You are not promising to finish. You are promising to stay with the discomfort for 10 minutes before choosing whether to stop. This retrains the brain. Discomfort can rise, peak, and fall without requiring escape. And finally, most people wait to feel confident before acting, but confidence usually arrives after evidence. One paragraph written, one difficult call made, one workout completed. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. Waiting reverses the order and leaves you waiting forever. Then redesign the environment. Put the phone in another room. Leave the document open. Remove one click between you and the good behavior. Add 20 seconds between you and the escape. Willpower argues with temptation. Environment quietly removes the argument. One warning: shame strengthens the loop. Calling yourself useless adds emotional pain, and emotional pain creates a stronger desire to escape. Self-compassion is not letting yourself off the hook. It is removing the extra weight so you can actually move. When you catch yourself escaping, try this sentence: "I am not failing. I am feeling discomfort, and my brain is offering an old solution." Then ask, what is the smallest honest action I can take for the next 10 minutes? Not perfect. Honest. The first time this may feel almost pointless. But your brain is always updating its predictions. Every time you remain present and survive the discomfort, you teach it something new. Beginning is not danger. Discomfort is temporary. Escape is optional. Escape is gradually, a new identity forms, not from affirmations, but from receipts. You become someone who can begin while uncertain. Someone who can feel an urge without obeying it. Someone who keeps small promises, especially when nobody is watching. And that is the part nobody tells you. Discipline is not becoming a person who never feels resistance. It is becoming a person who no longer treats resistance as a command. The uncomfortable feeling can ride in the car. It just does not get to drive. Kyushu. So tonight, choose one thing you have been avoiding. Name the feeling. Shrink the step. Set 10 minutes. Then begin before your brain negotiates, because tomorrow, a different version of you may try to take control. But tonight you decide which version gets stronger.
Everything is finally improving and suddenly you want to escape. The opportunity arrives, but you delay answering the message. The relationship feels safe, so you start searching for problems. The project gains momentum, then you stop showing up. You call it bad timing, confusion, or losing motivation. But sometimes your mind is protecting an older version of you. Self-sabotage rarely looks like a dramatic act of destruction. It usually arrives disguised as one reasonable decision. I will start tomorrow. Then the door closes and relief arrives before regret. Why would your brain destroy something you genuinely wanted? Because the brain does not always choose what feels best. Familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar success. It remembers what happened when you became visible, hopeful, or vulnerable. Maybe attention once brought criticism. Maybe success created pressure you could not control. Later, a good opportunity can activate an old danger map. The present looks promising, but your body remembers the past. That creates a conflict between desire and protection. Another quietly pulls the emergency brake. You are responding to danger signals you barely recognize. Identity makes the pattern even stronger. If you believe you are always overlooked, being chosen feels confusing. If you believe you fail, progress creates psychological tension. Success starts contradicting the story you know about yourself. So it may restore familiarity by creating another failure. You miss the deadline, choose the wrong person, or disappear. Then the old identity feels painfully correct again. At least the world makes sense. This is called identity protection. Because changing your life also means changing who you are. You may lose routines, roles, friendships, and familiar explanations. It can also take away the person you learned to be. Imagine Nora, who dreamed of becoming a designer. For years, she believed nobody would take her seriously. Then a major studio requested her portfolio. She had 10 days to send it. On day one, she reorganized each task looked productive, but none moved her closer. By day 8, anxiety had replaced excitement. By day 10, the portfolio still fell unfinished. The deadline passed and Nora felt unexpected relief. Now nobody could discover whether she was truly talented. That is the hidden reward inside many forms of procrastination. The future cost is distant, but relief happens now. The brain learns from immediate rewards faster than future consequences, so every escape makes the next escape more likely. Fear of failure is only half the story. Many people are secretly afraid of success. Success creates visibility. Visibility creates judgment. What if people expect more next time? What if everyone discovers you cannot repeat it? Remaining unfinished protects the fantasy of potential. You can still believe you might have succeeded. That is why perfectionism often produces incomplete work. It promises quality but quietly prevents evaluation. If nothing is finished, nothing can be rejected. But nothing can be accepted either. Relationships can activate the same protective system. Instead of relaxing, you feel suspicious. You create distance, test their loyalty, or revive old arguments. Chaos feels familiar, so peace feels emotionally incorrect. Or interpret consistency as hidden manipulation. Then you choose someone unavailable because the pattern makes sense. The pain hurts, but it confirms what love supposedly feels like. Self-sabotage is often loyalty to an old survival strategy. The strategy once reduced disappointment, shame, or abandonment. But protection becomes a prison when danger is gone. Watch for the quieter signs. You start conflicts before important celebrations. You become exhausted whenever progress requires visibility. You choose impossible standards, then criticize yourself for missing them. You wait for confidence before taking actions that create confidence. You become intensely busy with tasks that do not matter. You romanticize starting over whenever consistency becomes uncomfortable. You tell everyone your plan, then lose energy before beginning. You mistake emotional discomfort for proof you chose wrongly. The midpoint truth is simple but difficult. You may not be afraid the good thing will fail. You may be afraid it will work. Because then your excuses, identity, and hiding places must change. The solution is not attacking yourself with more discipline. Begin by identifying the exact moment sabotage appeared. Does it arrive after praise, commitment, visibility, or real progress? Patterns reveal the threat your mind is predicting. Next, name the feared consequence without making it sound logical. If this works, people will expect more from me. If they love me, they can eventually leave me. Once named, the fear becomes workable instead of invisible. Then reduce the size of the next courageous action. Do not finish the entire future. Send one email. Share one draft. Keep one promise after motivation fades. Small completed actions teach the brain that progress is survivable. Separate discomfort from actual danger. A racing heart does not mean the opportunity is wrong. Create systems for the moment you normally disappear. Schedule the upload before perfection begins negotiating. Tell one trusted person what avoidance usually looks like. Remove decisions from the hour when fear feels strongest. Let praise remain in the room for 10 seconds. Notice the urge to joke, dismiss, or change the subject. Your nervous system needs practice tolerating positive attention. Finally, stop asking whether you feel completely ready. Readiness often arrives after movement, not before it. The new life will feel unfamiliar because it is new. Do not confuse unfamiliarity with a warning. Nora eventually sent her portfolio to another studio. Her hands shook and the work still felt imperfect. The studio did not reject her. They offered an interview the following morning. But the real victory happened before their reply. Self-sabotage ends when protection no longer controls direction. You can respect why the defense appeared without obeying it. The part of you that fears change is not your enemy. It simply needs evidence that growth will not destroy you. Good things may still feel dangerous at first. Stay long enough to discover whether danger is actually freedom. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. You laugh at the right moments, answer questions, and seem present. But inside you feel strangely invisible. No one has left the room, yet connection feels missing. It is not always the absence of people. Sometimes it is the absence of being emotionally known. Your brain can count faces and still detect no real safety. That is why a crowded room can feel emptier than silence. Loneliness is not measured by how many people surround you. It is measured by the distance between connection wanted and connection received. Two people can have identical social lives and feel completely different. One feels supported, the other feels unnoticed. Human beings need more than conversation. We need signs that our inner world matters to someone. We need to feel recognized, understood, and safe enough to be real. When those signals are missing, the nervous system notices. It begins asking a painful question: am I alone here? Sometimes you feel lonely because you are performing instead of connecting. You choose the version of yourself that causes the least trouble. You smile when you are tired and agree when you feel uncertain. You hide disappointment, fear, anger, and uncomfortable needs. People respond warmly to the version you presented. But their approval may not reach the person underneath. You are seen, yet the real you remains hidden. The better the performance works, the lonelier you may become. Everyone appears to like you, but you do not feel known. You may even think they would leave if they saw everything. So each successful interaction strengthens the mask. The mask protects you from rejection. But it also blocks the intimacy you are waiting for. Emotional connection requires some accurate information about who you are. If every answer is edited, others can only meet the edit. It means closeness cannot grow without small moments of honesty. Another cause is emotional mismatch. You may have people available, but not in the way you need. Someone gives advice when you need understanding. Someone makes jokes when you need seriousness. Someone changes the subject when emotions become uncomfortable. They may care, but their response still leaves you alone. Your brain remembers whether reaching out produced comfort or disappointment. After enough disappointing attempts, you may stop trying. You tell yourself that nobody understands. Then you become quieter, even around people who might listen. You expect disconnection, so you reveal less. Because you reveal less, connection stays shallow. The shallow connection confirms your original expectation. If vulnerability once led to criticism, silence may feel safe. If your needs were ignored, needing anyone may feel embarrassing. If closeness was unpredictable, trust may feel dangerous. Your nervous system learns from emotional patterns, not promises. It may react to kind people using rules learned from unkind ones. You can want connection while automatically protecting yourself from it. That conflict often feels like loneliness without an obvious cause. You may sit beside someone loving and still feel unreachable. Sometimes, an old defense is keeping every door half closed. Social media can intensify the feeling. You see friendships, celebrations, vacations, and effortless laughter. Other people's lives appear full while yours feels emotionally quiet. But you are comparing your inner experience with their public evidence. You see the photograph, not the tension before it. You see the group, not who felt ignored inside it. Your brain treats visible activity as proof of belonging. Then your ordinary evening begins looking like social failure. You may scroll for connection and leave feeling more excluded. Passive observation gives social information without mutual emotional exchange. You witness other lives, but nobody witnesses yours. Another factor is the fear of burdening people. You may believe your feelings are too heavy or inconvenient. You reduce your pain into something easy to hear. You say you are fine when you mean you are struggling. The loneliness grows because nobody responds to the hidden message. You may secretly hope someone will notice without being told. When they do not, it feels like proof they do not care. But people cannot always detect what you carefully conceal. Unspoken needs can become invisible tests that others unknowingly fail. When you feel excluded, your brain becomes more alert to rejection. A delayed reply seems colder than it really is. A small disagreement feels like the beginning of abandonment. Your brain scans for evidence that you do not belong. Then you withdraw to avoid more pain. Unfortunately, withdrawal removes opportunities for corrective experiences. The protective action keeps the original fear alive. You leave conversations feeling more tired than connected. You know many people but contact nobody when something important happens. You give support easily but feel uncomfortable receiving it. You are entertaining, helpful, or calm but rarely honest. You disappear during difficult periods and return when you seem fine. You assume other people have closer relationships than you do. You mistake being included for being understood. They suggest your connection system is not receiving what it needs. So how do you reduce loneliness without forcing fake closeness? First, stop counting people and start evaluating emotional safety. Ask who allows you to be imperfect without punishment. Notice who listens without immediately correcting or competing. One emotionally safe person can matter more than a crowded contact list. Second, practice small honesty instead of dramatic disclosure. Admit when something mattered more than you expected. Share one true sentence and observe how it is received. Trust grows through repeated accurate experiences, not one giant confession. Third, make direct requests instead of invisible tests. Say, "I need listening more than advice right now." Ask someone to spend time with you instead of waiting silently. Clear requests give caring people a real chance to respond. Fourth, create connection through repetition. Familiarity gives strangers time to become emotionally meaningful. Most closeness grows slowly through ordinary, repeated contact. Fifth, reduce passive comparison when you already feel excluded. Choose one real message over 30 minutes of silent scrolling. Sixth, notice when old defenses enter a new relationship. Ask whether the present person is unsafe or merely unfamiliar. Finally, remember that loneliness is a signal, not an identity. It does not mean you are unlovable or permanently disconnected. It means some part of you is asking for meaningful contact. You do not need everyone to understand you. You need a few relationships where hiding is not required. The room may be crowded, but connection begins with one honest moment. Let someone meet the person behind the performance. Being known is frightening, but remaining unseen has a cost. You are not asking for too much by wanting emotional closeness. You are asking for one of the most human things possible. You enter a room and immediately wonder who approves of you. One person smiles and your body. Another looks distant and your mind locks onto them. 10 friendly reactions disappear behind one uncertain face. You replay your words, posture, timing, and tone. You begin adjusting yourself before anyone asks you to. It is the exhausting need to be accepted by everyone. Why does one person's disapproval feel so powerful? Because the human brain was built to monitor belonging. For early humans, social rejection could threaten survival. Being accepted meant protection, food, cooperation, and shared knowledge. Being excluded could mean facing danger alone. So your nervous system learned to treat social judgment seriously. Modern rejection is usually less dangerous, but the alarm remains ancient. Your body can react to criticism like a real social emergency. That is why approval can feel like safety. Children study adults to learn which behaviors keep connection close. One child receives warmth when they are quiet and helpful. Another is praised mainly for winning, achieving, or behaving perfectly. A third learns that disagreement creates tension or withdrawal. The brain turns these experiences into invisible rules. Do not disappoint people. Become useful enough that nobody leaves. These rules may once have protected an important relationship. You begin treating every interaction like an emotional performance. You scan the room before deciding which version of yourself to show. With one person, you become funny. With another, endlessly capable. Your personality changes to reduce the chance of rejection. But it can also make you feel emotionally homeless. Everyone meets a version of you, but nobody meets the whole person. Approval reaches the mask while your real self stays uncertain. You may receive compliments and still feel fraudulent. You think they only like the person you performed. So you work harder to maintain the image. This creates approval addiction. Approval gives a short burst of relief. Relief fades and uncertainty quickly returns. Then you search for another compliment, invitation, or reassuring message. Your self-worth becomes dependent on external signals. A delayed reply can lower your mood. A small criticism can erase an entire successful day. A stranger's opinion can feel more important than your own experience. Your brain begins outsourcing identity to the crowd. Likes, views, reactions, and follower counts become visible approval signals. The numbers create the illusion that acceptance can be calculated. Then ordinary silence starts feeling like public failure. You may post something honest, then immediately question it. You edit, delete, repost, and monitor every reaction. The content matters less than what the response seems to say about you. You see people who appear more attractive, confident, successful, or loved. Their public image becomes evidence against your private self. You assume they are naturally accepted while you must earn every place. But you are comparing their presentation with your inner uncertainty. The comparison is structurally unfair from the beginning. Approval seeking also changes decision-making. You stop asking what you actually want. You ask what choice will disappoint the fewest people. Your life becomes organized around avoiding other people's discomfort. But kindness and self-erasure are not the same. People-pleasing is often fear trying to look generous. You say yes before checking your energy. You apologize when you have done nothing wrong. You explain simple boundaries as if defending yourself in court. You accept unfair behavior because confrontation feels dangerous. If someone is disappointed, you assume you failed. If someone is quiet, you search for what you did wrong. If someone disagrees, you feel pressure to repair the connection immediately. This creates a constant emotional workload. You rehearse messages repeatedly before sending them. You change opinions depending on who is listening. You feel guilty after saying no. You overcommit, then secretly resent the people you agreed to help. You avoid sharing good news because someone might feel uncomfortable. You hide problems because you do not want to seem difficult. You need reassurance after normal conversation. You feel responsible for keeping every room emotionally comfortable. You are more afraid of being disliked than of abandoning yourself. Resentment builds because your needs keep losing. Relationships become unequal because others learn you will always adjust. Decision-making becomes exhausting because every choice has an imaginary audience. Your confidence weakens because you rarely practice trusting yourself. And eventually, you may not know what you want without feedback. So how do you stop needing universal approval? First, accept the mathematical impossibility of being liked by everyone. Being honest will please some and disappoint others. Disapproval is not always evidence of wrongdoing. Sometimes it is simply evidence that two people are different. Second, separate discomfort from danger. Someone can be unhappy with your boundary while the relationship remains safe. Let their reaction exist without immediately fixing it. Your nervous system learns through surviving small moments of disapproval. Third, delay automatic agreement. Replace immediate yes with time to think. Even a short pause returns choice to your body. Fourth, build an internal reference point. Ask what you believe before checking what everyone else believes. Write down your values, limits, needs, and priorities. Use them as a compass when reactions become loud. Fifth, practice being accurately known. Share one honest preference even when it differs from the group. Let trusted people see uncertainty instead of constant competence. Real intimacy requires enough truth to create a real relationship. Sixth, stop over-explaining normal boundary. A respectful no does not require a courtroom argument. Clear language feels uncomfortable at first because it removes performance, but clarity is kinder than resentful agreement. Finally, choose whose opinions deserve influence. Feedback from everyone is not equally informed, caring, or relevant. Give weight to people who know your values and want your growth. Let random judgment remain random. You do not become cruel when you stop managing every reaction. Some people may like you less when you stop performing. But the people who remain can finally know who stayed. The goal is to stop disappearing for their approval. You are allowed to be kind without being controlled. You are allowed to disappoint someone without becoming a bad person. Being liked feels good, but being real creates a life you can inhabit. Not everyone will approve of that life. But for the first time, you might. You worked for months, maybe years, to reach one important goal. You imagined the moment would finally change how life felt. Then the result arrived, and for a few hours everything glowed. But soon the excitement became quieter than you expected. The room looked the same, and your mind found another problem. You wondered why success did not feel like enough. But it does not mean the achievement was meaningless. It means the brain adapts faster than your imagination predicts. This is the psychology of the arrival fallacy. The arrival fallacy is the belief that one future milestone will create lasting happiness. It sounds like, once I get there, I will finally feel complete. The goal may be money, status, love, fitness, recognition, or freedom. Before success, your mind fills the future with emotional promises. You imagine confidence, relief, belonging, and permanent peace. It becomes a container for every feeling missing today. But the real achievement cannot carry every promise placed inside it. When it arrives, reality is smaller than the fantasy. Your brain also uses dopamine differently than many people assume. Dopamine is strongly involved in motivation, anticipation, and learning. It rises when progress feels possible and rewards seem near. That is why the chase can feel more energizing than the prize. Your attention narrows around the next step. Uncertainty keeps the reward system active. Then the goal is reached, and the prediction becomes complete. The tension drops because the brain no longer needs to pursue. You may call that calm, but experience it as emptiness. The system designed to move you forward has stopped pushing. Another reason is hedonic adaptation. People gradually adjust to positive changes in their lives. A new achievement feels extraordinary because it is new. Then the brain updates its definition of normal. What once felt impossible becomes part of the background. The new salary becomes the usual salary. The new home becomes the place where chores happen. The new title becomes another line in your daily routine. Adaptation protects the brain from being overwhelmed by constant emotion, but it also reduces the intensity of good changes. You simply stop noticing it as often. Attention moves from what improved to what still feels incomplete. That shift creates the illusion that nothing changed. Social comparison can make the emptiness stronger. Before reaching the goal, you compared yourself with your past. After reaching it, you compare yourself with people above you. The reference group changes as soon as your position changes. The finish line moves because your social environment moved. Achievement becomes the entrance ticket to a harder comparison. You feel behind again, even from a higher position. This is sometimes called the hedonic treadmill. You keep moving, but your emotional baseline follows you. The destination changes while the internal pattern remains. Identity can also become trapped inside the pursuit. For months, your life had a clear mission. You knew what to do when you woke up. Your struggle organized your time, attention, and sense of purpose. People may have known you as the person chasing that goal. Then success removes the structure that carried you. The problem is solved, but the identity built around solving it remains. Without the chase, the day can feel strangely shapeless. You temporarily lose the version of yourself created by pursuing it. This can happen after graduation, marriage, a launch, a competition, or retirement. You are leaving behind routines, pressure, and a familiar future. The achievement closes a chapter your nervous system understood. The blank page afterward may feel more threatening than expected. Perfectionism adds another trap. A perfectionistic mind rarely allows an achievement to stay complete. It instantly searches for flaws, exceptions, and missing proof. You may minimize the result by calling it luck. You may focus on what could have been better. You may move directly to the next challenge without celebrating. That prevents the brain from fully encoding success. The moment becomes another task instead of a meaningful experience. Then you remember the stress more clearly than the accomplishment. Your mind learns that success only creates more pressure. Some people also use achievement to escape uncomfortable feelings. Work provides structure when loneliness feels unclear. Goals create control when life feels uncertain. Progress distracts from grief, fear, or low self-worth. As long as you are moving, you do not have to look inward. Success removes the distraction and reveals what was already there. The achievement did not create the emptiness. It exposed an emptiness the chase had temporarily covered. This is why external success cannot automatically repair internal pain. A trophy can confirm performance but not create self-acceptance. Applause can recognize your work but not replace intimacy. Money can reduce many real problems but not answer every emotional question. Achievement matters, but it has limits. So how do you enjoy success without immediately losing it? First, separate the goal from the feeling you expect it to create. Ask what emotional promise you attach to the outcome. Did you expect safety, worth, love, freedom, or respect? Then identify which parts the goal can realistically provide. Second, build a life that contains meaning during the pursuit. Do not postpone every relationship, hobby, and quiet moment until later. A goal should organize part of your life, not consume all of it. Third, create a deliberate arrival ritual. Pause before replacing the completed goal with another demand. Write down what changed, what it cost, and what you learned. Share the moment with people who understand the journey. Celebration helps the brain register that something meaningful happened. Fourth, practice positive comparison with your earlier self. Look backward long enough to notice the distance traveled. Your past self may consider today's ordinary life extraordinary. Fifth, let identity become larger than achievement. You are not only a worker, creator, winner, provider, or performer. Build parts of yourself that do not depend on constant proof. Connection, curiosity, character, and contribution can survive changing goals. 6th, choose process-based goals alongside outcome goals. An outcome can end, but a meaningful practice can continue. Instead of only chasing recognition, keep improving the craft. Instead of only chasing a number, build a sustainable way of living. Finally, expect adaptation without treating it as betrayal. Happiness was never designed to remain at maximum intensity. A quieter feeling can still represent a better life. Peace often feels less dramatic than pursuit. Success does not have to complete you to be valuable. It can improve one chapter without solving the entire story. Let the achievement be real without forcing it to become everything. Then choose the next direction from meaning, not panic. The goal was not a doorway into permanent happiness. It was one important step in a life that still needs to be lived. Mia finally sits down, but her mind remains busy. The room stays quiet, yet an alarm starts inside. Unfinished tasks and unanswered messages circle around her head. Rest begins feeling less restorative and more like failure. Her exhausted body relaxes while thoughts demand more proof. Proof she is useful, disciplined, and not falling behind. Mia reopens her laptop, although her attention has vanished. She calls it responsibility, though fear hides underneath professionally. Why does stillness feel dangerous when nothing is wrong? Because productivity became deeply connected with Mia's personal worth. Achievement brought praise, forming one simple internal equation gradually. Work brings approval, and approval begins feeling like safety. Eventually, that equation becomes embedded inside Mia's identity itself. She believes completing tasks is what makes her valuable. One pause button appears between her work and identity. Rest now seems to pause her worth, not activity. A quiet afternoon feels like disappearing from life's scoreboard. This painful pattern is commonly called productivity guilt today. The finish line keeps moving, making enough feel impossible. One completed task immediately creates 3 more demanding tasks. Rewards last seconds before the pressure quickly returns again. Productivity becomes a treadmill cleverly disguised as forward progress. Modern culture strongly celebrates visible effort and constant busyness. Busy people receive labels like ambitious, important, and successful. People compare overflowing schedules like trophies proving their commitment. Overwhelm sounds respectable, while resting often feels socially embarrassing. Meanwhile, Mia's recovery remains hidden behind an invisible curtain. Her brain favors actions that leave visible, measurable evidence. Emails, checkmarks, hours, and charts build a public talent. Rest protects future performance without producing an immediate trophy. This biases Mia toward short-term proof over long-term health. Family messages can quietly strengthen this guilt pattern further. Young Mia receives warmth mainly after performing very well. She learns usefulness and achievement keep love close nearby. Years later, stopping work immediately produces guilt inside her. An old lesson whispers that she must earn belonging. Rest activates fears of laziness, failure, and disappointing others. Her nervous system may also misread stillness as danger. Constant urgency trains Mia's body to expect high activation. When pressure stops, her body may not feel peaceful. Calm feels unfamiliar, so her brain searches for problems. Then it creates tasks, worries, or imagined future emergencies. Mia thinks she cannot relax because work remains unfinished. Sometimes she creates more work because relaxation feels unsafe. The Zeigarnik effect makes unfinished tasks mentally stay active. Unfinished tasks often glow brighter than completed ones mentally. During rest, those signals become easier to hear clearly. One unfinished email can invade her entire peaceful evening. Then perfectionism arrives, carrying an impossible measuring ruler everywhere. There is always another improvement, detail, or future risk. Rest feels undeserved because standards stay permanently unreachable anyway. Her body rests while her mind stands inside work. Social comparison multiplies Mia's guilt through her glowing phone. She sees someone launching a successful business online today. Another person appears exercising before sunrise every morning consistently. Someone else seems to learn, travel, and succeed simultaneously. Mia compares polished highlights with her most exhausted moment. Suddenly, recovery looks weak instead of necessary and healthy. She cannot see their support, debt, exhaustion, or editing. Her brain turns their images into judgments about pace. Rest becomes proof she is losing an invisible rate. Several common warning signs reveal this productivity guilt clearly. Mia feels anxious during free time without knowing why. She turns hobbies into goals, into improvement projects. Entertainment feels wasteful, so educational content becomes compulsory instead. Mia checks work messages during meals, weekends, and conversations. She apologizes for sleeping, pausing, or changing her plan. A completely full calendar creates temporary emotional relief inside. Other people's guilt-free relaxation can make Mia feel irritated. Their ease challenges rules she has followed for years. Mia creates unnecessary chores before allowing herself simple pleasure. First clean, answer everything, and prepare for tomorrow completely. Only after finishing everything may she finally rest briefly. But tomorrow always creates another condition before rest begins. Eventually, this pattern damages productivity it tries protecting most. Chronic pressure reduces attention, creativity, memory, and decision quality. An exhausted brain works longer while producing increasingly less. Small tasks become heavier, increasing procrastination and avoidance behaviors. Then guilt grows because Mia continues avoiding necessary work. More guilt creates pressure, and pressure creates deeper exhaustion. Burnout does not prove how deeply Mia truly cared. It often means recovery arrived much too late instead. So how can Mia rest without feeling like failure? First, redefine rest as part of every work cycle. Muscles grow during recovery, not during moments of strain. Memory strengthens when the brain receives quiet processing time. Creative solutions often appear after attention releases the problem. Rest and progress are connected, not opposing forces ever. Recovery is a biological condition making real progress possible. Second, give every rest period clear boundaries and structure. Undefined breaks can feel like completely losing personal control. Choose 30 minutes one evening or a calming ritual. Structure helps anxious brains experience rest as intentional recovery. Third, close small mental loops before stopping work completely. Write unfinished tasks instead of carrying them mentally everywhere. Choose each next action and when work will resume. This tells the brain tasks are stored, not abandoned. Fourth, notice the voice accusing Mia of being lazy. Ask whose voice it resembles and what it prevents. It may guard against criticism that no longer exists. Thank the alarm, but never surrender complete control again. Fifth, practice activities without any measurable outcome attached whatsoever. Walk freely without tracking distance, speed, or calories today. Draw something privately that nobody will ever see online. Listen to music without converting it into self-improvement work. Let small pleasures exist without becoming public evidence afterward. 6, measure energy instead of tracking only visible output. Ask whether today's pace supports tomorrow's continuing Sustainable days may look modest but build stronger lives. Finally, separate human worth from usefulness and constant achievement. Mia remains a whole person before completing any task. She remains worthy with full inboxes and low energy. Rest does not make Mia less ambitious or capable. It teaches ambition how to survive for much longer. The goal is not earning permission for every pause. Stop treating exhaustion as the price of belonging somewhere. Her value remains steady when every work screen closes. Sometimes responsibility means calmly closing the laptop and stopping. Let the body recover before shutdown becomes unavoidable entirely. Mia may rest before exhaustion becomes impossible to ignore. At midnight, Maya remembers humiliation from 7 years ago. Nearly asleep, she feels the old scenes suddenly revive. Her awkward words replay with painfully perfect, cruel clarity. Maya imagines everyone judging her, though they probably forgot. Her body reacts as if the embarrassment happens again. Her face warms, stomach tightens, and sleep disappears completely. Why does her brain choose the quietest hour now? Night removes distractions and turns memory into private theater. The replay is not random, meaningless, or completely accidental. Her brain tries protecting her with an outdated alarm. During daytime, movement and decisions occupy Maya's full attention. Messages, traffic, conversations, and tasks compete for mental space. At night, distractions fade, making her inner world louder. The brain's default mode network becomes noticeably more active. It reflects on self, relationships, memories, and possible futures. Useful reflection can become repetitive, exhausting emotional investigation quickly. Her mind scans unfinished social moments for hidden danger. One awkward laugh outweighs an otherwise completely pleasant day. Her brain asks whether she unknowingly broke social rules. Then it reconstructs the event from every possible angle. She remembers standing, speaking, and who looked away nearby. Perfect alternative responses appear inside parallel thought bubbles nearby. This feels productive but becomes pointless mental time travel. The brain confuses repetition with solving what cannot change. Replaying feels like repairing, but nothing truly gets fixed. Embarrassment is a painful form of social threat response. Social pain activates systems linked with physical pain pathways. For early humans, rejection threatened protection, food, and belonging. The brain learned treating social mistakes as survival information. An awkward moment could damage acceptance and group status. Modern life is safer, but ancient alarms still activate. One forgotten joke can trigger fears of tribal rejection. Her brain warns against risking exclusion, not declaring stupidity. The outdated alarm greatly exaggerates the actual social threat. The spotlight effect intensifies how visible Maya feels socially. She overestimates how closely others notice her behavior daily. She experiences herself from her own attention's central position. Everyone else experiences themselves from their own central position. Their minds focus on personal mistakes, worries, and insecurities. Her awkward sentence may vanish from others' memories instantly. The frowning person may feel tired, distracted, or uncomfortable. Still, Maya interprets one expression as permanent social judgment. Her mind creates a courtroom with 3 impossible roles. Without outside evidence, the imaginary trial never truly ends. Memory functions differently from how most people commonly imagine. It is not perfectly stored like an internal recording. Each recollection reconstructs the experience from scattered mental fragments. Real details mix with emotions, assumptions, and missing information. Tonight's memory may feel harsher than the original event. Present insecurity paints the old memory with darker shadows. Each replay can add reactions that never actually happened. She may not remember the original moment accurately anymore. Instead, she remembers her brain's most recent reconstructed version. This changing process is known as memory reconsolidation today. Reactivated memories become flexible and emotionally reshapable again temporarily. Flexibility supports healing, while rumination can create distortion instead. The scene becomes sharper, darker, and increasingly personally meaningful. Another influence is the brain's powerful negativity bias system. Negative information receives greater attention than positive information usually. Compliments fade quickly, while one criticism survives for years. This bias helped ancestors remember dangers and threatening behavior. Missing pleasure was harmless. Missing danger could prove fatal. The brain stored painful events more strongly than successes. 10 normal conversations cannot silence one awkward sentence tonight. Her brain believes painful memories contain urgent survival information. It magnifies mistakes while ignoring everything she handled well. Then shame enters and changes the event's personal meaning. Guilt judges behavior, shame judges the entire person's identity. One small mistake expands into a damaged identity mirror. Instead of learning, Maya begins repeatedly attacking herself emotionally. Self-criticism resembles discipline, but often increases anxiety and avoidance. Threat narrows perspective and blocks flexible creative thinking pathways. Her attention tightens around one embarrassing detail completely alone. This narrowing creates a powerful repeating rumination loop nightly. Memory causes discomfort, and discomfort triggers deeper analysis again. More analysis strengthens emotion, making the memory feel important. Importance triggers another replay, restarting the entire painful cycle. At night, physical stillness allows the loop to strengthen. Few outside signals confirm the old danger is past. Darkness, silence, and fatigue reduce healthy emotional perspective greatly. Small worries feel enormous when her nervous system tires. A tired brain has weaker cognitive control and brakes. Emotional alarms remain active while mental brakes become weaker. Harmless memories can feel catastrophic during exhausted midnight thinking. Forcing thoughts away can make them return much stronger. The brain interprets suppression as proof of hidden danger. Then it constantly monitors whether the memory stays hidden. Monitoring requires repeatedly activating the memory inside awareness again. This creates the ironic and frustrating rebound effect immediately. The harder she resists thinking, the more thoughts multiply. Fortunately, Maya can interrupt replay without fighting the memory. First, she names what is happening in simple language. My brain is running an old social threat replay. This creates distance without denying her very real emotion. Second, separate the event from its dramatic interpretation clearly. The event was simply using one incorrect word publicly. The interpretation says everyone now considers her completely incompetent. Only the simple event is directly supported by evidence. Third, imagine someone loved making the identical human mistake. She would respond with kindness, perspective, and realistic understanding. Maya gives herself the same gentle interpretation she offers. Fourth, she completes the lesson, then closes the case. She writes one sentence about responding differently next time. A clear lesson tells her brain processing is complete. Fifth, Maya adds a healthier ending to the memory. She imagines recovering, smiling, continuing, and remaining socially accepted. This does not pretend the original mistake never happened. It teaches her brain embarrassment is survivable, not fatal. Sixth, Maya returns attention toward present physical sensations gently. She feels the mattress, breathes slowly, and relaxes tension. Her body sends evidence that she is safe now. Awkwardness is the unavoidable price of participating in life. People avoiding embarrassment often avoid speaking, creating, and connecting. Her memory proves she participated instead of hiding away. Others forget because they replay their own mistakes nightly. The younger person she punishes no longer exists unchanged. She has learned, changed, and outgrown that earlier version. The past may knock, but it deserves no keys. Notice the memory, keep the lesson, then let go. You are not your tired brain's worst remembered moment.